Welcome to the Badger Max Thursday Night Lights High School Football Game of the Week. We're live on the campus of Heartland Arrowhead as the Warhawks take on the Highlanders from Homestead in a non-conference showdown between two of the best high school football programs in the state. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike McGivern. I'm with Sports Radio 105.7 FM The Fan, and this is the Fan pregame show. Joined by the two head coaches tonight's game, Greg Malling from Arrowhead, Dave Keel from Homestead. Boys, thanks a lot for having us out tonight. I'm going to ask you the same question, and Coach, I'm going to start with you. When you look at some of the best programs in the state and you look at their opening game and who they're playing, it looks like they're trying to ease into a little bit. Not you boys. You're going right at it, and I'm wondering the mindset of playing a team like Homestead right off the jump.
Well, it's this game, win or lose, it's always a great starting point for us. So we said, let's start with the best and, figure out where we are right away. It's, I don't know, the kids are really excited about that, and I think Homestead is too. It's a class program, and it's a lot of fun. Everybody's excited.
You bet. Same question, Coach.
Yeah, I agree with Greg. It's good for our communities. They both support. We both get great support. We love to see great competition. Greg's going to expose our weaknesses. They're too good a coaching staff over there, so we know what we have to build on after the game like tonight. It's an honor to come out here and play such a quality program that are so well coached.
It's an honor for us to be here as well. We're going to talk a little bit about conferences, two of the best conferences. And before we do that, Coach, Coach Tejan at Whitefish Bay, certainly our football family. Not only in the North Shore, but throughout southeast Wisconsin. I hope that he and his family know our prayers are with him, and we look forward to having him back on the sidelines very quickly.
Mike, I couldn't agree more. Jim is a quality man, runs a great program. We played him twice last year, and it was tooth and nail. Jim, our prayers are with you, my friend. Look forward to seeing the sideline real soon.
You bet. Let's go to the conference. Coach, it's a good conference, top to bottom, and certainly when you talk about the conference, start with Homestead, but boy, I'll tell you what, the whole conference is pretty tough.
It's solid. It is a really good conference. Germantown's been outstanding. Cedarburg, Whitefish Bay. Grafton's got it going. Head coach over there is awfully good coach now.
Yeah,
So,
you learned a lot from you, I'll tell you.
We're known for defense, and he's going to take that over to Grafton, and they're going to do a great job over there. He's a good hire for the Blackhawks.
Yeah, I agree. Coach, and look, guys like me, when you talk about the best conference in the state, I think your conference is. I just do, top to bottom. And you know what, this year, no different.
I agree. I think, in fact, it should be a little bit better conference, I think, this year, just in terms of the density. We go through and just can't figure out where there's an off week. But again, this is all about challenging yourself, finding out about yourself, and it's an awesome opportunity.
Thank you so much for having us out here. Opening kickoff, we're just a little bit away, and thank you so much, guys. I'm gonna cut you loose. On the other side of the break, Terry Kelly, John Weiser will get you the keys to the game. This is the Badger Max Thursday Night Lights High School Football Game of the Week, only on My 24.
Season 6 of Badger Mac Thursday Night Lights kicks off at Heartland Arrowhead tonight as the Warhawks play host to the Homestead Highlanders, week number 1 of the high school schedule. Good evening, everyone. With Terry Kelly, John Weiser back with you for our 6th season of Thursday Night Lights here on My 24. Playoff-type atmosphere here tonight between two teams that are veteran teams in the playoffs, Homestead and Arrowhead.
Beautiful evening. It's not that hot August that you sometimes get. It's more like what happens in October, November, and these are two teams who are usually playing October and November.
Third straight season, these teams match up in the non-conference part of the schedule. Homestead winning the last 2 ball games by a combined total of 10 points, so we may see another close ball game here tonight.
And last year's loss didn't slow down Arrowhead. At the end of the season, there they were in the state championship game.
Veteran teams here, a little bit younger on that Homestead side of things, but still a couple of key players, Jack Pop and Matt Winters, their 2 best offensive players, I think.
Jack Pop, lots of offers. He's a tight end, wide receiver type. Matt Winters is a returning all-conference halfback. On the defensive side of the ball for Homestead, Josh Miller, 15 different D1 offers, hasn't made his choice yet. In the defensive backfield, Jake Brunner kind of pulls everything together.
For Arrowhead, I think it starts with their quarterback, really, Johnny Duranzo. He is Mr. Everything here at Arrowhead and the best returning quarterback in the area.
3-year starter, which is a rarity at Arrowhead, even played in the state championship game as a freshman. Up front protecting him, Ben Bredesen. regarded as one of the best offensive linemen in the country, is committed to Michigan, has a brother that went there as a baseball player, so that kind of pulled him there. On the defensive side of the ball, Teddy Orlando returns in the defensive backfield, and they have two brothers, so I mentioned both of them so I don't get in trouble with the family. We've got Eric and Dylan Wolfile, two guys who played a lot last year, but they've got to bring along that inexperienced defense.
We talked about the Homestead winning these two games the past 2 years by a combined total of 10 points. So let's boil down the Badger Max keys to the game tonight. What's going to take for Homestead to pull off a three-peat?
Well, their inexperienced offensive line has to gel right off the bat. They've got to make sure that they win the field position battle through their special teams. That's key. Coach Keel has given up some of his offensive coordinator duties. He's now doing the special teams, doing a Mike McCarthy. And then their defense has to find a way to slow down Duranso and the high-powered offense for Arrowhead.
For the Warhawks tonight, what do they need to do?
Well, they've got to make sure that their offensive line, which has 5 returning starters, dominates the way it should be. They've got to also make sure that Johnny Duranso and this plethora, we'll throw out the big word early, of receivers really moves the ball up and down the field. And then they're relatively inexperienced on defense. They have to find a way to frustrate Homestead.
Always a great matchup when these two teams get together, whether it's regular season or postseason. Season 6 of Badger Max Thursday Night Lights kicks off right after this. Pfeiffer Memorial Field, Taraska Stadium. Heartland Arrowhead hosting Homestead tonight, week number 1 of the 2015 high school football season. So I guess summer officially ends here as soon as we kick this thing off.
Perfect evening for football. There's a nice crowd on hand, especially when you consider neither of these schools is in session yet.
We're getting ready for our national anthem here tonight. We have our U.S. Marine Color Guard out there, Sergeant First Class Carswell, Staff Sergeant Lewis, and Army recruiters, Sergeant Munoz and Sergeant Flores, Army recruiters, part of our Color Guard tonight as we get set for our ball game here this evening. The Marching Warhawks will perform our national anthem. The director is Jake Polanstich. Great job by the Arrowhead Marching Warhawks and their director, Jake Polanstich. And we're just about set for football tonight. We talked about the weather. You couldn't ask for a better opening night weather. The humidity low. Temperatures are going to fall back into the upper 50s before it's all said and done here tonight. Talking to both coaches, they were concerned, hydration, keeping the players hydrated, but with the low humidity tonight, that should not be a problem here this evening.
Yeah, it's a cool, crisp evening. It's one of those evenings that's just perfect for football. I'm sure these guys are anxious to get going after having gone 3 weeks in camp. Now it's time to play a real game. And
I would think Arrowhead, after losing to Kimberly last year in that championship game, chomping at the bit to get back on this field. And our U.S. Marine game ball presentation here tonight. As you're looking at that, we have our game officials getting set to receive our ball here tonight. That's Mike Greeny, our referee here tonight. And again, the U.S. Marine game ball presentation, part of our Thursday Night Lights once again this year. Well, prior to tonight's game, Tony Resch, the founder of Raising the Stakes, fundraising and leadership development, took part in our coin toss this evening. Now, Tony works with both Coach Malling from Arrowhead and Coach Keel from Homestead for their fundraising, as well as working with them on their leadership program. So he was out there participating in our coin flip here tonight. And Arrowhead, I believe, won the toss and deferred to the second half, so they will kick off. Homestead will get the ball first here this evening.
Yeah, right off the bat, it'll be a question just how quickly can that inexperienced offensive line come together and see if they can do a good job protecting a brand new quarterback for Homestead. They've got Eric Zeller calling the shots this year, and so he needs to get off to a good start.
Homestead in the all-white, Arrowhead in the red jerseys. John Mack, the senior place kicker, will get things started here tonight. And we are underway, and the kick will go through the end zone, and it will be an automatic touchback with a drive of the ball into the picked up by Tyler Wolt back there. And so Homestead will get it 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Talked about the inexperience for this Highlander team on offense. And that's Eric Zeller, their quarterback. Nick Allen, longtime quarterback the last couple of years for Homestead. Kind of a coach on the field, if you will, the way he ran that offense to precision last year.
Coach Keel said, he's one of the best quarterbacks Homestead has had, and that's quite a compliment.
Zeller will work in under center, single back, 2 receivers, 2 tight ends. And they will hand it off. And the first play of the game goes to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard. Winters on the carry. Matt Winters, their senior running back, first team all-conference a year ago with the carry for a yard, 2nd down and 9.
Yeah, he rushed for 13 TDs last year. He also runs track, good speed, and he's one of the keys to help that inexperienced group. Sometimes a good running back can make a new line look good.
2nd and 9, ball just across the 21-yard line. From the pistol, Zeller handed off. Winters trying to go around left side, stumbles, can't quite get the corner. Nice play defensively out there for Arrowhead. As on the play, it was Jake Powell coming up to seal the corner that time for the Warhawks.
It's interesting when Coach Keel sends back his pregame summation of what his offense is like. He said, we run a full house backfield. And I said, well, there's one of the biggest misnomers. I've never seen a guy that moves his backs around, double slots, spread. Very good, but now it's a new offensive coordinator for them, Drake Zortman.
Pop and Minkin split here to the near side with Minkin lined up in a slot. From the gun, Zeller rolling to his right. Being chased out of the pocket and going to be tackled behind the line back at the 16-yard line. Eric Wolfile, who we talked about in our pregame, chased him down from the backside for the sack back inside the 16-yard line as we get another look. Just a great play that time, chasing him down all the way from behind. Eric Wolfile, the senior, starter from a season ago.
Yeah, part of that sack is responsible because of Jake Powell forcing upfield at the defensive end slot, kept him contained, let Wolfile chase him down.
Pop will have to punt from his own goal line. So 3 and out, and Pop will get this one away. It's a short kick. It'll make the 40-yard line, take a favorable Homestead roll across midfield into Warhawk territory, and will roll dead inside the 40-yard line, dead at the 39. So a favorable roll on a short punt. Arrowhead will get their hands on the ball for the first time tonight. 9:38 to go here in our first quarter. No score. Again, a reminder that Badger Max Thursday Night Lights is available streaming live online. Log on to my24milwaukee.com and click on the Thursday Night Lights link. You can also find complete game videos and photos from this season's games. That's my24milwaukee.com. First and 10 Arrowhead from their own 39-yard line. As Duranzo will work from the pistol. Johnny Duranzo, 6'1", 195-pound senior at quarterback. And he will hand it off. Going up the middle that time is Nick Bastian. Bastian, the 5'8" senior, with a nice carry across the 40 out to the 44-yard line. Drop there. This season, first downs are sponsored by Wisconsin Lutheran College, located in Milwaukee, a comprehensive Christian college offering 37 undergraduate majors, an accelerated degree completion program for adult learners, and graduate degree options. You can learn more at wic.edu. Second down and 5. Duranzo play action. Now pressure on. Dumps it over the middle. Complete to Justin Parrott. And Parrott close to a first down near midfield. Should have it based on the spot here by the officials.
Excellent example of Johnny Duranzo's experience. He hangs in there, doesn't panic as he feels a little pressure, jumps that ball off. And they're going to run this spread offense. The thing's deceptive about the spread. People don't look at it as a running offense, but because of the big hogs up front, they can run it at any time. And Nick Bastian returns from last year.
That's a Wisconsin Lutheran College first down for Arrowhead at midfield. Duranzo will work from the gun. Stacked receivers here near side. Duranzo will keep it. Cuts around the left side. Gets a nice block out on the midfield stripe and gets it inside Homestead territory near the 45-yard line. Great block that time to provide the lane for Duranzo to run it up the left side.
Duranzo was, their leading rusher last year. When you think about everything he did, so far in his career, he's completed 69% of his passes. Last year, he threw for 1,900 yards, rushed for 731. You can see why he's a 3-year starter.
Gain of 5 on the play. Second down 5 from the 45. Just over 8.5 minutes to go here in quarter number 1. Season opener tonight on Badger Max Thursday Night Lights here on My 24. Again from the pistol will be Duranzo. Blitz coming up the middle. They will hand it off and met at the line of scrimmage and driven back. Nice play that time up front for Homestead defensively. Jeremy Alexander was in up top. Able to come up and make the play as we take another look. Gain of 2 on the play. It'll bring up 3rd and a long 4 here for Arrowhead. Their first possession started on their own 39-yard line.
So far, a number of times we've seen Homestead bring extra men. They're trying to put some pressure and contain them.
Play action fake. Duranzo going over the middle. A receiver cut back inside. I think Duranzo thought he was going to gut outside, as it was Tyler Jones, the intended target. As we head downstairs, our first visit tonight with Mike McGivern.
Hey guys, thank you. Listening to the defensive coaching staff from Arrowhead. Said, guys, settle down. Our reads are perfect. If we continue to cover Pop the way we covered him, it's going to be a long night for their offense. Pretty excited on the defensive side here at Arrowhead.
So 4th down, Parker Redmond will step in to punt here for Arrowhead. So both teams punting on their first possession. Redmond gets a low snap, gets this one away. Fair catch signaled for and made just across the 15-yard line. Patrick Minkin able to come up with the reception there on the punt. So from the 16-yard line, Homestead will take over. 7:38 to go here in a scoreless ball game, early first quarter. So kind of a feeling out process here between these two teams?
Well, up to this point, one thing you've got to be impressed initially is Homestead's defense. Now they're trying to keep pressure on by sending sometimes 1 and 2 linebackers, trying to minimize the impact of those big offensive linemen. We'll kind of see what happens now with the field position.
Trips to the left side here on first down for the Highlanders. And this is Winters trying to get the corner left side. Nothing doing. Wolfile there brings him down, but credit the linebacker out there, forcing him back inside into the wash, so to speak, for the play. That was Cullen Thiel, the middle linebacker.
Once again, you saw excellent pursuit. You watched the number of Arrowhead guys that stayed on their feet, ran with the play.
Loss of 2, 2nd and 12 upcoming for the Highlanders. They'll go trips right side here with Winters the single back in the backfield with Zeller working out of the pistol. Four-man rush, and Zeller will keep it. Wants to work the left side, and again stacked up immediately. Got the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard.
One of the guys in there is Eric Wolfile again, and along with Jake Powell. So right now the Arrowhead defense has been showing that they're able to kind of dominate that line of scrimmage.
Both defensive ends that time crashing to the inside, and Wolfile and Powell. So back to the original line of scrimmage, sets up a 3rd and 10 for the Highlanders. Again, a scoreless game here, first quarter. We'll send the man in motion, that's Fehrenbach. Lines up in a slot, Zeller wants to throw, goes over the middle, ball's deflected and nearly picked off. It drops incomplete. Noah Rummel inside that time, got the coverage, got a hand on that pass, nearly hauled it in for the interception.
I think he was trying to hit Fehrenbach, number 4. Coming out of the backfield.
Nice play by the junior. Rummel had the inside position on the receiver that time. So they'll bring up 4th down. Pop will punt for the 2nd time tonight. First one was a low line drive. This is a high floater that'll be taken back at the 46-yard line and out of bounds just across midfield.
Nick Bastian, sure-handed running back, is fielding punts. He's back there along with number 11, Jack Becker.
So just over 6 minutes to go here in this first quarter, a scoreless first quarter. And we will take our break here. Scoreless here at Arrowhead tonight. Homestead and Arrowhead kicking things off our Badger Max Thursday Night Lights. Scoreless ball game here midway through our first quarter. Along with Terry Kelly, Mike McGivern, Kara, John Weiser with you tonight on a beautiful night here in Lakes Country as the Arrowhead Warhawks and Homestead meeting up for the 3rd time in the last 3 seasons in the non-conference portion of the schedule. Arrowhead 1st and 10 from the 49 of Homestead. Duranzo will throw it out far side to Hauer, makes the catch and out of bounds immediately just across the 45-yard line. Jake Hauer on the reception for the Warhawks.
Yeah, it's so true of so many of the programs nowadays. These different teams are playing in 7-and-7 leagues throughout the summer, and the timing is not, the usual. Got to adapt. They've been throwing the ball around all summer.
Gain of 5, 2nd and 5 for the Warhawks. Bastian, the single back in the backfield, double slot left and right here. 4 receivers for Arrowhead. Duranzo wants to throw, has time, lofts it up near side, and it is incomplete inside the 10-yard line. Justin Parrott had it for a moment, but could not hang on. One more look here. Nice play out there defensively. Jake Brunner, 6'2 senior, was right with him. He had gotten a hand in there just at the last minute and knocked that one away.
One of the boys we mentioned at the beginning of the game, that was a key for Homestead's defense.
Now sets up 3rd and 5 from the Highlander 44. And Duranzo will give it to Bastian. Bastian trying to get the corner right side, spins out of a tackle inside the 40, picks up the 1st down and out of bounds near the 35-yard line. 2nd and 3rd effort that time by the senior back Bastian, picks up a Wisconsin Lutheran College 1st down.
5'8", only 160, but you found out that he's not going to go down easily.
What's this effort here? Right there, able to break one tackle. Actually 3 different tackles that time before he was forced out of bounds. Nice effort that time by Nick Bastian. So it sets up a 1st and 10 for Arrowhead at the Highlander 38. And in motion here to the near side. They'll try to work the middle side this time, and nice run that time. Brought down by Drew Crabb, the wide receiver. Let's go downstairs to Mike McGivern.
Guys, again, defensive coaches here at Arrowhead talking about, look, if we stop their run, and we've done that, we put them in a dilemma. And ask yourself, what are they going to do if we stop their run? Guys, defensively, they're doing exactly what they came into this game to do.
All right, Mike, thank you so much. Gain of 6 on the play, sets up 2nd down and 4. Stack receivers here to the near side. And so from the pistol. And he will keep it on the fake to Bastian, trying to work the right side. Spins out of a tackle, gets the first down inside the 25, down to the 23-yard line. Gain of 9 on the play and a first down for Johnny Duranzo.
You know, they're running that option, and Johnny Duranzo is reading the reaction of the defensive lineman from Homestead, and if they commit, he's pulling that ball out from Bastian, keeping it himself. You know, right now, Homestead is really kind of rolling the dice. They're bringing 2 linebackers most of the time, trying to shoot the gaps, trying to break up the continuity for Arrowhead.
Connor Gertz on the stop that time for Homestead. 1st and 10 Arrowhead from the Highlander 23. 3 receivers to the left side. Duranzo will keep. Inside the 20, 15, breaks a tackle to 10, 5, spins to the goal line, touchdown Arrowhead. Johnny Duranzo, all on his own that time, broke 2 different tackles into the end zone, and the Warhawks jump out to a 6-0 lead.
Excellent job by Duranzo. You know, he's showing that he is indeed a leader, not just in terms of what he does in the huddle, but how he, by example, helps this team move that ball.
Nice tackle break there, stepped out of one and then split the 2 defenders that time. We'll get one more look here from the top. Able to get right past Jack Pop that time, one of the safeties. The extra point is on the way, and it is good. 7-0 Arrowhead, 4:21 to go here in our first quarter. One more look at the touchdown run by Duranzo.
Duranzo doing a lot of that on his own, and you can see why Coach Malling really felt the team would be in good hands with Mr. Duranzo at the helm.
Let's head downstairs to Kara with our first visit tonight.
Hey guys, I've got Sergeant Madero here with the United States Marine Corps. Sergeant, why did you join the Marines?
Well, I was an AP student in high school, but the whole high school scene wasn't really working out for me. And then one morning, a Marine Corps recruiter called me up, and here I am 9 years later. No regrets.
It's probably been a great adventure for you so far, right?
Yeah, 1 tour to Iraq, 2 to Afghanistan. Can't complain.
Well, good for you. And now, if anybody wanted to join the United States Marine Corps, where would they go for more information?
Oh, our center is located off a Guitar Center near the Brookfield Mall down in Blue Mountain Road.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you.
And back to you.
Kara, thank you so much. And we thank our Marine Corps and our Army Guards here tonight. Thank them for their service. As hot potato out there, as Lincoln will pick it up across the 15-20 out to the 22-yard line. So nice play on special teams that time. Coming up was Alex Panos, serve defensive lineman there on the stop.
That's name's a little bit familiar
out here, isn't it? Joe Panos.
I know you sometimes can find Joe at a practice working with some offensive linemen.
Well, let's see what Homestead can do here, trailing for the first time tonight. They have not had the best of field position on their first 3 possessions, so we'll see how this works out for the Highlanders. Zeller in under center. We'll hand it off to Winters, trying to work left side, bolts out to the 25-yard line. Gain of about 3 on the play for Winters.
You see that, Homestead trying to put trips out to the right side, trying to get Arrowhead to spread their defense and then get some seams so they can try to crack through that front 4.
For the Warhawks, that was a 6-play drive, ending on the 23-yard touchdown run by Duranzo. 2nd down, 7 for Homestead. Trips here to the near side, and they will hand it off. Winters out of a tackle across the 25, out to the 28-yard line. Off the bottom of that pile, Jake Powell, the junior defensive end, along with some help from Colin Thiel, the middle linebacker.
Once again, they ran a running play out of that spread formation, ran a little trap. They've got an excellent line coach, Jim Hessler, and he loves running the trap game, running the inside zone, outside zone. It's all part of their package.
Another critical third down here for Homestead. 3rd and 4 from their own 28. And again, the Arrowhead defense stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Not much room. As Ehrenbach, not much there.
It's the first time we've seen Homestead and what they say they run out of the straight T.
Straight T, yeah.
But Arrowhead up to the challenge.
Their 4th straight drive ending in a punt here. Pop, a little more room here to get this one away. This one will bounce, and the Warhawks will let it roll. Takes a favorable Highlander roll down to the 20-yard line. 52-yard punt, most of that on a roll down to the 20-yard line.
It's one of those things special teams coaches constantly talk about is don't let a weak punt become a great punt by not catching in the air. But early season game, trying to judge just how far is that guy going to kick the ball. You don't quite have the idea of what he's going to do consistently. So the field position that time got tilted a little bit for Homestead. Let's see if they can take advantage of that and force a punt.
It was a hit show on cable and now is coming to broadcast TV. Don't miss Kara Sedgwick as the closer. That'll be Wednesdays at 7, starting September 30th, only on Milwaukee's My 24.
Yeah, I said, don't let it. You got to catch that.
So Arrowhead will work from their own 20-yard line. Duranzo single back, stacked receiver here to the near side. And now running and throwing is Duranzo, incomplete. Kind of an interesting play there, Coach. Nick Bastian lined up here as kind of the 4th receiver here on this side, was frozen at the line of scrimmage until the very last minute and then released.
That was a quads formation, and one of the things that Arrowhead likes to run, and they haven't run it yet, is they love to run a screen game, and this formation was going to give them a screen without putting anybody in front of them. And it didn't bring any linemen over. Little wrinkle.
2nd down and 10 as Duranzo. This time I'll have a single back, Bastian in the backfield. Double slot left and right here for the Warhawks. Fake the handoff. We'll dump it out to Jones here on the near side across the 25 out to the 26-yard line. Gain of 6 on the play. Joe Wasserman, the 6-foot senior on the corner of this near side, able to make the stop. Once again, let's head downstairs to Mike McGivern.
Guys, so here's what I love. Watching the offensive coaches, the offensive line coaches talking to the offensive linemen. Quarterback DeRosa, he got done with his, came over to the lineman. He said, boys, you get a hat on a hat, and I'll make that happen all night long. And then he thanked him. I like the quarterback here at Arrowhead.
Linebackers creeping up, and we have a penalty, our first penalty of the ball game here. This will be a false start penalty here against Arrowhead.
We mentioned before the game that Dave Keel had turned over his offensive coordinator duties. But they also have a new defensive coordinator, Matt Wolf. Their longtime defensive coordinator, Fritz Rauch, is up at Grafton. And apparently one of the things Matt Wolf decided he was going to do is he was just going to bring people all the time. And you saw what happened there, the offensive line getting a little edgy, and they jumped.
So a 3rd and 8 here from their own 22-yard line. Clock rolling, 1:15 to go here in our first quarter. A 7-0 Arrowhead lead. 23-yard touchdown run by Johnny Duranzo. Duranzo bobbled the snap, and threw the timing off, and he's going to be pulled down near the 25-yard line. It was a high snap that time from his center, DJ Dean, who's a sophomore. And it was Sean Driscoll and Jack Pop who finally got a hold of Duranzo to bring him down.
Homestead got what it needed here. They got a stop. The rolling punt helped perhaps tilt the field a little bit now in Homestead's direction.
Parker Redmond, first team all-conference selection as a punter last year. Will kick an end over end. It will bounce inside the 40 and angle out the near sideline, short of the 31-yard line. So a little bit better field position here for Homestead. Late here in this first quarter, trailing by 7. Let's see if that defensive stop fires up the offense here a little bit and see if Drake Zortman can get things sorted out here as the offensive coordinator.
Right. Very successful, did an outstanding job with the combined team, working with Shorewood and Messmer. Had been with Coach Keel earlier in his career and came back. He's a math teacher now in the Homestead district. So we'll see if Coach Keel is whispering in his ear. It'll be like Mike McCarthy deciding just how many plays will I let my OC call.
3 receivers to the left. Single backfield is Winters. Fake to Winters. Zellers will toss it out, and it's complete out to the far side. And a nice catch that time and a spin move as the reception made by Patrick Minkin, 5'6" senior. On the reception, Teddy Orlando on the stop for the Warhawks.
You watch that play again and see if they go to it, because what they're trying to do is set up that poor cornerback. They'll fake a pass quickly out to the flat, and that split receiver is going to go flying down the field, and they'll try to hit him. They got to see if the cornerback will stay disciplined and read his key.
Johnny Duranzo, the 23-yard touchdown run as our first quarter comes to an end. 7-0 Arrowhead. Badger Max Thursday Night Lights here at Arrowhead High School tonight. Warhawks with a 7-0 lead. Duranzo, the 23-yard touchdown run midway through that first quarter. As teams will switch sides here, Homestead going right to left, facing a 2nd down and 5 from their own 37-yard line. Zeller fakes, now rolling right. Has some running room if he wants it. Now dumps it out. High pass, and it through the fingertips and incomplete. Looking for Tyler Wolt that time, the wide receiver in there for the Highlanders.
Eric Zeller didn't get a lot of playing time last year behind Nick Allen, and especially that tough North Shore Conference. There were not a lot of runaways with Germantown, Cedarburg, Whitefish Bay. So he's trying to get the feel for the game himself.
Nice play though by Wolt. Got behind John Mack, the corner that time. So 3rd and 5 for Homestead. First 4 drives ended in a punt. They got movement up front, and they got Arrowhead to jump. Looked like Mitchell Berg's nose tackle that time may have jumped the gun.
You continually hear about quarterbacks doing the hard count, and drives defensive line coaches nuts when you say, you watch the ball. That's got to key your movement. Don't get caught in the cadence. But easier said than done.
Mike Greeny heading up our officiating crew here tonight. Pat O'Brien is the umpire. Ken Zimmerman, the head linesman. Paul Antonson, the line judge. And Mike Smith, the back judge tonight. Our men in stripes. That just will drive defensive coordinators nuts when you jump off on 3rd and 5 and give a team a free first down. The first Wisconsin Lutheran first down for the Homestead Highlanders tonight. First down sponsors this year by Wisconsin Lutheran College. Glad to have them aboard this year. From their own 42, Winters will line up to the right of Zeller, the quarterback. Zeller wants to throw. Goes over the middle, completes the pass. Jack Pop with a catch right at midfield, gain of 8 as he's brought down immediately after the catch. Zeller and Pop connect on an 8-yard play.
Pop was a first-team all-conference selection last year in that North Shore Conference. 28 receptions, 552 yards. Also an excellent basketball player. And can you imagine what that's like with Josh Miller and Jack Pop under the boards during basketball when you play Homestead?
2nd and short. 2 receivers to the right side. Zeller wants to keep it. He'll get the first down into Warhawk territory inside the 45 down to the 43-yard line. Just a bit of confusion on that play. He and Winters collided in the backfield there momentarily, but Zeller able to recover and pick up another Wisconsin Lutheran College first down.
Yeah, that mesh point, sometimes if you go from the inside zone, outside zone. Got to get your timing set up.
Well, good drive here. It seems like that defensive stand and the flip of the field, as we said before, a little bit of a spark here for the Highlanders. 1st and 10 from the Arrowhead 43. Zeller sends the man in motion, fakes the handoff on the jet sweep. Zeller will keep it inside the 40 and driven back at the 38-yard line. Tough yardage that time for the junior quarterback, Eric Zeller.
Yeah, Drake Zortman's doing a nice job mixing his plays, giving a variety of looks to Arrowhead. And that jet sweep, obviously you can set up all kinds of things off that.
It was Minkin on the run that time. This time they'll go trips to the right side on 2nd down and 5 from the 38. Gresham in motion. Zeller will hand to Winters, and Winters met immediately and driven back. Regains his footing, spins out of that tackle, gets some positive yardage, pounding it, and gets the first down. What a play by Mike Winters. He stepped out of Eric Wolfile's tackle. That's hard to do.
Yeah, Wolfile had him, dead to rights in the backfield, but Winters, once again, showing why he was a first-team all-conference selection last year. He just didn't want to go down.
Well, when you can get out of Wolfile and Orlando, your two best tacklers coming back for Arrowhead. That's another Wisconsin Lutheran College first down for Homestead at the Arrowhead 31. And Zeller will fake the handoff. He'll keep it, and he's brought down just across the line of scrimmage. Parker Redmond was there, along with Jake Powell on the bottom of that pile for Arrowhead.
Much like a chess match right now. Coach Zortman's trying to figure out just, how do I move these pieces? Meanwhile, Sal Logie, the defensive coordinator for Arrowhead, is trying to see just how he matches up, what kind of schemes can he run to defeat them a little bit.
Second down, 8 from the 29. Slot left, slot right. Single back is Winters. Zeller wants to throw with time. Going over the middle. Receiver there, and it's knocked away late. Intended for Minkin. Swatted away that time by John Mack, the corner, 6-foot senior. Getting a mid on that one. Deflecting that one away. Nice play.
That got his hand in there at the last second and saved a touchdown.
So 3rd down and 8 from the 29. Deepest penetration of the game here for the Highlanders. Just under 9 minutes to go here in our first half.
Key down here for Homestead to see if they can get that momentum, move it up the field, get a chance to get that score.
Zeller will send Minkin in motion to the near side. Goes back over the middle, complete to Minkin inside the 20. He'll take it down to the 9-yard line.
That time they blitzed both linebackers and left that middle wide open. Once again, as we said, much like a chess match, one coach plotting against the other, and Eric Zeller took advantage of that. Here come the blitz.
So 1st and goal inside the Goodwill Power Zone. When any team gets inside the 20-yard line, we've reached the Power Zone, brought to you by Goodwill and the power of work. So 1st and goal from the 10 in the Goodwill Power Zone. Homestead trying to go with trips here to the right side with Winters the single back, Zeller in under center. Winters will get the inside handoff, dragged down inside the 8, close to the 7-yard line. In there on the stop, Powell. Jake Powell once again. It's his 5th tackle tonight already.
But as you watch this, you can gradually see the Homestead offensive line starting to get a little confidence, sticking with their blocks. And as this game plays on, the more they start to feel that they can move the ball, this is going to become an extremely tight game.
2nd and goal. Ball at the 7-yard line. Zeller from the pistol. We'll hand it off. Winters trying to get left. Now cuts back up the middle. Dives forward inside the 5, down to the 3-yard line. Good cut that time by Winters to cut it back up the middle. Looked like Wolfile was there to finally bring him down, and Powell also able to chase him down.
Yeah, Noah Rummel turned that play back inside, but we saw Winters just take that ball, make the quick cut, just planted that foot, found the seam, and up he went.
Get a good look at it there. They'll spot it at the 3, 3rd and goal from the 3. Zeller under center, Winters the single back, trips to the right side. Zeller will keep, spins, keeps his footing, but is brought down short of the goal line. Looked like Noah Harvey pulled him down from behind, keep him from cutting back as he tried to spin out of that tackle. Harvey was right there making the stop, along with Colin Thiel. We've called his name a couple of times tonight.
Coach Zortman having to make one of those first big decisions of his career up at Homestead. 4th and goal, going for it from the left hash.
Ball at the 2, 4th and goal. Winters the single back. Hard count by Zeller. Now let's see if Dave Keel might burn a timeout here. Didn't get him to draw him offside, so he will take the timeout. We will take our break as well. 7-0 Arrowhead with Homestead knocking on the door. And we'll be back right after this. This is the Badger Max Thursday Night Lights on My 24. Interesting decision here. Head coach Dave Keel going with that hard count, trying to draw Arrowhead offside. That did not work. Took the timeout here to talk it over here on 4th and goal from the 2.
I didn't know for sure if they were trying to get him to jump offside, move halfway distance to the goal, only have 1 yard to go. Didn't work. But I think he wants to see what he can work out of this powerhouse backfield.
A powerhouse, 3 across. Zeller will try and turn the corner, gets to the goal line, touchdown, Homestead. Zeller punches it in from 2 yards out on 4th down, and the Highlanders an extra point away from tying this one up.
A little variation of the old belly option, as they called it. Take that dive, quarterback takes the ball, he can either pitch it or follow and one hole wider.
A nice block by Winters on the outside, hung up the defensive end just long enough to get Zeller the corner. We'll watch again. It was on Wolfile right here, I think. Jose Ramos was the guy that was blocked, and the extra point up and through, and we're knotted at 7 here with 6:11 to go here in our first half. An impressive drive set up by that field flip, if you will, on the punt as we head down to the sideline and Kara.
I've got Jim Brand here with Wisconsin Lutheran College. Can you tell me a little bit about Wisconsin Lutheran College?
Sure, Kara. WLC is a Christian college located on the border of Milwaukee and Wauwatosa. We offer 37 different degree programs for traditional undergraduate students, an adult degree completion program, and several graduate options as well. And we're really proud of our national rankings. They list WLC as one of America's best colleges and a top destination in southeastern Wisconsin.
And where can they find more information?
They can learn about it at WLC.edu, learn about our fall visit days, October 25th and September 30th, and register online.
Well, thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Back to you.
Kara and Jim, thank you, and we welcome Wisconsin Lutheran College to our Badger Max Thursday Night Lights. Well, an impressive drive here by Homestead, able to answer, and again, the punt set them up, able to get the defensive stop, and we talked about Drake Zortman getting lined up, I guess you could say, as the coordinator, got that offense going.
I think Dave Keel has to be pleased with how his young kids have stepped in there, have responded to that initial surge. On the other hand, I think Coach Malling is probably saying, boy, our big offensive line should be dominating this game a little bit more. So it'll be interesting to see what adjustments get made as we go through the first half and as we move into the second half.
Minkin will kick. It'll be a short end-over-end kick to be taken at the near side 25, out across the 35, and knocked down near the 40-yard line. Nice return on a short kick that time. Wasserman there.
Yeah, the little pop-up kickoff didn't get the result that they were hoping for, pin him down, and so Arrowhead comes out of this with really good field position. Now the question, can they take advantage of this?
So Duranzo will lead the offense out one more time.
After this play, if it comes this way, get out of the way, Keegan.
Two receivers here to the near side. Johnny Duranzo at quarterback. We'll hand it off, and this is Andrea coming around the left side, and we'll get inside just short of midfield on the run that time. Spencer Papandrea, the 5'7" junior.
My goodness.
Let's head downstairs to Mike McGivern.
Hey, boys, we're going to try this again. I got 3 grandsons now. Keegan, say hi.
Hi.
So look at the camera. Logan, say hi.
Hi.
Look at the camera. And this is Beckett. Last year they went Baba. This year we worked all season. Get this done. Back to you, boys.
All in the family. The grandkids back again this year. Close to a first down here. Duranzo on the run right near midfield. Let's see where they mark it. Looks like he's going to be just shy at the midfield stripe.
Got a little bit of a quarterback follow there. Fake that dive. Duranzo really enjoys running with the ball. But, so far that offensive line isn't overwhelming Homestead's defense.
3rd and inches here for Arrowhead. Duranzo will have Papandrea in the backfield. Slot receiver here to the near side is Tyler Jones. And Duranzo will keep it, picks up the Wisconsin Lutheran College first down, dives forward into Highlander territory at the Homestead 49-yard line for the first down.
With heading south of 5 minutes left in the first half, I'm pretty sure Arrowhead would like to get that score up there, start to feel like they can have a little control of the game. Right now, they're going toe-to-toe, and Homestead is really staying in there. Contrary to what Coach Keel wrote to us in his pregame, he said we're going to pray a lot, and otherwise it's going to be a long night for Homestead.
Twin receivers to the left side here on 1st and 10 for Arrowhead. And Duranzo over the middle, ball, receiver, defender, all in one. It was knocked away as Serafino Lagalbo delivering the blow that time for the Highlander defense. Tyler Jones, the intended receiver. Watch this.
Perfect timing.
Yep. That's mid-season precision right there by LaFalbo. Serafino Lagalbo, the 6'2", 190 senior. 2nd and 10. Duranzo will keep up the middle with some room. Inside the 40, ball out. Loose inside the 30-yard line, still on the turf at the 25. Each team pointing that they have the football. Looks like Homestead came away with it, and they do. First turnover of the ball game, and it's Homestead. That might have been Lagalbo again who may have come up with it. Let's see. Robert Day. As you see, the ball was knocked out. It was Pop who knocked that ball out of Duranzo's hands. And indeed it was Robert Day, the senior linebacker, falling on it for Homestead. So the Highlanders take advantage of the first turnover tonight. As you get a look at that defense, well, they have played well tonight.
Papa, as far as we know, the only two-way player in the game, playing safety for Homestead on D and as well as wide receiver on offense.
4.5 minutes to go in first half. Tie ball game, 7 apiece. Zeller wants to throw, coming back near side, has a receiver out there, just overlet him, incomplete. Minkin, the intended receiver, and they just couldn't quite run underneath that one on a nice pitch that time by Zeller.
Anybody who's ever played against Homestead knows one of the things they love to do is when it looks like they're deep in their own territory, they love to run a wheel pattern. Take that back out of the backfield and run them right up the sideline. They just missed connecting.
All season, Mike McGivern and Carol will have the opportunity to talk with sponsors, coaches, and other guests down on the sidelines, letting you know about the great things going on in the schools and communities we visit. Our sideline reports are being brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards. Fumble on the exchange between Winters and Zeller. And no signal yet. And Arrowhead, or I should say Homestead, came back away with it. Boy, Winters and Zeller, they've had some trouble a couple of times tonight. And it was the pullout that time by Zeller. It looked like it hit the left hip of Winters. And Winters was able to fall on it at the last second to save the possession for the Highlanders. Right there.
Key third down. Be interesting to see what Coach Zortman wants to do. Is he willing to gamble a little bit, or is he going to be conservative? He's got Tripp set to the left side here.
Zeller, with time, steps up, heaves it down the near side, and it overthrows everybody at the 40-yard line. Intended for Fehrenbach. Just trying to air that one out. It brings up 4th and long here, 4th and 13 with 3.5 minutes to go here in our first half. So that fumble, setting back the, putting the Homestead offense behind the sticks, so to speak. So they will be forced to punt. Pop will punt this one away near his own 10-yard line. It's a good snap and a nice high floating punt. Once again, Arrowhead will let it hit the turf. It'll take a favorable Highlander roll inside the 30-yard line and will roll dead at the 28.
Coach Malling told us he was going to have a committee returning the punts. I think we're seeing maybe one of those reasons, trying to find someone who's going to take charge back there, either call for the fair catch or take a little bit of gamble and try to take it on the run.
So a 50-yard punt once again for Pop. So Duranso will go with an empty backfield here. 1st and 10 from his own 28-yard line. Slot left and a slot right. 4 receivers set to go out. He'll try and go back over the middle, leaping grab, and down at midfield is Nick Bastian. Going up high to receive the Duranso pass out to the 50-yard line. 22-yard pickup and a first down, a Wisconsin Lutheran College first down for the Warhawks.
Arrowhead had their wide receivers go to the outside portions of the field, leaving that middle wide open. Notice they have Bastian come right in underneath.
From midfield, Duranso again will fire. Completes far side on the reception, Jack Becker. Becker, a junior, 6'1", 180 pounds, his first reception tonight. Durzan and Menard is our Scholar Athlete Award sponsor this season, and before the game, Bob Menard had a chance to meet this week's Scholar Athlete nominees. We'll see those Scholar Athlete Awards and have a chance to talk to Bob Menard coming up during our American Family Insurance halftime report. 2nd and 2. Big hole up the middle. Bastian again inside the 30, dances his way down to the 25-yard line. 17-yard pickup and a Wisconsin Lutheran College first down for the Warhawks.
Another case you can see of the blitzing linebackers coming up. You get that little seam, there's nobody left. Bastian takes advantage of that.
Once again downstairs to Mike McGivern.
Hey guys, so listen to the Homestead coaching staff. Not happy about that turnover, but feeling pretty good about how they were moving the ball a little bit. Not defensively, they're asking these guys to wrap up and get off their blocks a little bit. And obviously when you're tired, you know that's a difficult thing to do.
Just short of the 25-yard line, 1st and 10. Coming around the near side. Bastian again able to step his way forward. Pick up the first down. Very close to a first down, I should say. Nick Bastian, the senior, 5'8", 160. 331 yards a season ago, and
very quick feet. You watch him, they read that. Dips it in, takes it back outside.
Wasserman finally able to bring him down. Was indeed enough for a first down. Once again inside the Goodwill power zone. Ranso. Bastian again following his blockers over the right side. Bangs his way inside the 10 down to the 9-yard line.
Arrowhead getting a little more surge out of their offensive line now.
Just pop on the bottom of that pile for Homestead. So 2nd down and 4. Ball at the 8-yard line here as we go under a minute to play here in our first half. Tie game at 7, but Arrowhead knocking on the door in the Goodwill power zone. And now a timeout going to be called here. So a timeout taken here by Arrowhead. That is their first. They have 2 remaining. Homestead has 2 remaining. Well, check that. That is Homestead with the timeout. They have 1 timeout remaining.
Arrowhead signaling their plays in from the sideline like so many teams do nowadays, and they actually lost a lot of time there. I think, once again, first game of the season, trying to figure out, okay, what's going to give us our best chance. See Coach Winters right now as they zoom in on the defense as he's trying to figure out exactly how he's going to match up here down inside the 10.
Oh, I have a moment. We'll let you know that for the latest news on what's happening with the Packers, watch the training camp report live from Green Bay tonight at 10. My Place for Sports, that's My 24. .52 seconds to go here in the half. Warhawks facing a 2nd and 4 from the Highlander 8-yard line.
You're going to have to excuse me. I made a little mistake. I said Coach Winters. I'm thinking of the defense. Matt Wolf is the defensive coordinator. I don't want to be persona non grata out at Homestead.
Duranso from the pistol. Gets a high snap. Bastian trying to get the corner left side. Has the room. Touchdown, Arrowhead. Once he got the edge on that left side, whole end zone wide open that time, and Bastian goes in for the 8-yard score. And Arrowhead back on top by 6.
Those twin receivers that were set left took the deep cornerbacks out of the play, and all of a sudden that speed served him well.
Mack will kick the extra point. Quarterback Johnny Duranso on the hold, ball down. Kick is on the way, and it is good. 14-7 Arrowhead. 46 seconds to go here in our first half. Another impressive drive, and that was all on Nick Bastian, the running back, with 3 impressive runs on that drive.
Once again, Duranso runs that so well. He reads, decides whether we're going to give the ball, and it sets up because as a defensive back, is that going to be a dive? Are they going to go run wide? Just how are they going to play that? And Duranso will keep the ball so often if you overcommit to the dive back. And so that spread offense is really working well. Puts Arrowhead in the lead.
So that offensive line getting it going for the Warhawks. We talked about that. They needed to they wanted to get in this game and stay in this game. They needed to dominate, and they certainly did on that drive, opening up some nice holes.
Up to that point, Homestead had been hanging in there pretty well. Now they've got to go back, regroup a little bit at halftime, see what happens as they start the second half.
Mack set to kick off. Wolt and Minkin back deep, and this one will carry the end zone. And we'll go for the touchback. No chance on a return there, so Homestead will get it at their own 20-yard line. They have 46 seconds left in the half. I believe they've got a couple of timeouts remaining here.
It depends how daring they want to be. What's their mindset? Are they happy being close at halftime, or are they going to try to step on the gas?
Eric Zeller will lead them out. Zeller will work under center. 3 receivers to the right. Zeller fumbled the snap. It's loose on the turf, and I believe he fell on it. Problem on the exchange. Michael Shears, the center, and Eric Zeller. Problems there. Nearly a disaster after giving up the touchdown here. Now I got to believe they'll just let the clock run out here.
Yeah, they're going to run that down and only snap it one more time.
They put the ball in play, and I don't believe the Highlanders need to snap it. We'll see here. Zeller going to hold them in the huddle here, or are they going to try and get one more play off? They've got 2 seconds. They won't get this one off. Nope, that'll end the half. So our first half comes to an end here tonight. Arrowhead getting a late touchdown here in the final minute of this second quarter to regain a 14-7 lead. They led 7-0 first quarter on the Duranso 23-yard run, and it was Bastian from 8 yards out to regain the lead. Meanwhile, it was Zeller on a nice run inside, the only score for the Highlanders. 14-7, Arrowhead on top of Homestead. First half in the books. Our Badger Max Thursday Night Lights on My 24. And welcome back to our American Family Insurance halftime here on the Badger Max Thursday Night Lights on My 24. An exciting ball game, 14-7 in favor of the Warhawks, coming back here late, picking up a late touchdown by Bastian to take the lead 14-7 here at the half. So an exciting ball game early on, and 14-7 your score as we get a look at the Arrowhead Warhawk Marching Band here tonight. It's the American Family Insurance halftime report here on the Badger Max Thursday Night Lights on My 24. Nick Bastian's 8-yard touchdown run with under a minute to go here in the second quarter has given the Warhawks of Arrowhead a 14-7 lead over the Homestead Highlanders. Badger Max Thursday Night Lights, our new presenting sponsor tonight, and Kara has a very special guest with us on the sideline.
That's right, guys. I've got Kevin with Badger Max down on the field with me. Can you tell us a little bit about Badger Max?
Sure, Kara. Badger Max is a Wisconsin-owned and operated sport drink that we have with a partnership with UW-Madison. A portion of what we sell goes back to the student athletes of Wisconsin. So it's a great partnership we have and a great loyalty factor in the state of Wisconsin.
And is it just for athletes?
It's not just for athletes. We think we have a healthier solution for anyone who likes to perform, anyone who works out, a little older people like myself. We need a natural hydration integration in terms of working out, so it's a good factor for that.
And Kevin, why is it important for Badger Max to be a part of the community and youth sports?
Well, we think Badger Max, with our tie with UW, is a good loyalty factor, and if we can get a better hydration factor to the football players, the student athletes of Wisconsin, we can get that loyalty factor to the community and into the stores also to drive some community sales into Pick and Save, other grocery stores like Meijer and Quick Trip also.
Well, that's wonderful. We are so excited to have you guys as title sponsorship this year at Thursday Night Lights, and we appreciate all the hard work you guys are doing.
Well, we appreciate the sponsorship. This is great for us, so thank you very much.
And back to you.
Kara and Kevin, thank you, and Badger Max, we thank you for your title sponsorship this year on Thursday Night Lights. The Marching Warhawks, under the direction of Jake Polonczyk, performing their halftime routine here from Arrowhead High School. 14-7, Warhawks on top of Homestead. Our American Family Insurance halftime continues here on the Badger Max Thursday Night Lights from Pfeiffer Memorial State Field at Tarasca Stadium here at Heartland Arrowhead High School. 14-7, Arrowhead on top, getting the late touchdown to retake the lead here by 7. As we head back downstairs, Kara with a very special guest here tonight.
That's right, guys. I've got Sergeant First Class Carswell with the United States Army down here with me. Now, why do people tell you that they joined the Army?
Well, Kara, people join the Army for the education, they join the Army for the income that's stable, the health benefits, the excitement, and they really want to serve their country.
And what are the basic qualifications for joining the Army?
So the basic qualifications are somebody between 17 and 34 years old, either graduated high school or on track, and they have to be in good health and moral standing.
And now, what are the main benefits of it?
So the main benefits of joining the Army, if you look at active duty, you can get over $61,000 Montgomery GI Bill, up to a $40,000 bonus. Part-time and in reserves, you're looking at up to $25,000 for the Montgomery GI Bill and up to a $20,000 bonus. Always they have training of choice, the education benefits, and the excitement.
Why did you join?
I joined because I wanted to serve my country. They gave me a little bit of money to pay back my student loans with college, and then I also wanted to get out and have some excitement away from the hometown situation.
And where can folks go to grab more information about joining?
If they want to come down and see us, we're in Blue Mountain, Calhoun, right down in Brookfield. They can go to goarmy.com and request more information, and we see how we get a hold of them.
Well, thank you so much for all that you do and for all the Army does for our country and for joining us at Thursday Night Lights.
You're very welcome, and thank you for having me.
And back to you.
Kara, thank you, and thank you, Sergeant First Class David Carswell, for serving our country. That leads us now into our highlight package brought to you by the U.S. Army. Army Strong. And early on, it was Johnny Duranzo in the Arrowhead offense.
Excellent run here by Johnny. Hits, spins, keeps moving to that end zone, punches it across.
Gives the Warhawks the early 7-0 lead after 4 consecutive drives that ended in a punt. Highlanders got things going in the second quarter, and it was their quarterback.
Seller faked that dive, kept the ball, got it across for the score.
That tied the game at 7, but then late here with less than 2 minutes to go, Arrowhead with the ball, and it was the running back Bastian.
They kept spreading them out, trying to get those seams, and Nick Bastian was able to take advantage of that.
Scoring the touchdown with under a minute to go here in our first half to give them the 14-7 lead as we run the numbers here from this first half.
Well, in many ways, I think Homestead has to be pleased with their defense. They've given up 157 yards, 109 on that on the ground, but they haven't been getting gashed. Same token, Arrowhead's defense has played tough. They've only given up 65 total yards, but that field position got tilted a little bit. Homestead was able to take advantage of that. 14-7 score. It looks like we're headed for that same kind of game we've had the past 2 years. We've had 13-7, 24-20 wins by Homestead. Positive Arrowhead like to reverse that trend.
We'll have the second half for you coming up right after this. Our Badger Max Thursday Night Lights on My 24. Seven-point ball game. Warhawks from Arrowhead on top of the Homestead Highlanders 14-7 as we getting set to begin our third quarter here tonight from Pfeiffer Memorial Field at Tarasca Stadium in Heartland tonight. And it's up to what we said at the beginning of the game. We thought this would be a close game. The last 2 games in this non-conference series have been tight, with Homestead winning by a combined total of 10 points. So pretty much playing up to what we expected here so far.
From the Homestead's perspective, they've got to feel pretty good about how they've stood up to the Arrowhead offense. And conversely, Arrowhead is looking maybe at this offensive line. They've got 3 of those 5 guys got some kind of all-conference mention, and they haven't come out here and dominated the line of scrimmage. So it's been intriguing, and sometimes you let a team stay in the game, like Homestead. You don't know what happens. By the same token, I would imagine Coach Malling had a little discussion about where we're going to be. I talked to him earlier in the year, and I said, you've got so many guys back, people saying all kinds of good things about you. How do you keep your guys focused? And he said, one word, Kimberly. He said, we didn't get to finish what we wanted to last year.
And for Homestead, I think, you look at your keys to the game. They wanted special teams to help them with field position, and on that touchdown drive, it was that field flip where they got the defensive stop deep in the Arrowhead side, got them the good field position, and that sparked their offense for their only touchdown this far.
And a couple of times, Arrowhead hasn't fielded the punts well, and that's bought a little extra room for Homestead to work with, and so it's been an intriguing game. I'm anticipating a little bit more fireworks here in the second half.
We didn't really talk too much about it at the beginning of the game, but this Classic 8 conference, what a meat grinder conference this is. When you look at last year, you had 4 teams tied for first at 5-2 records between Arrowhead, Catholic Memorial, Waukesha West, and Muskego. And all things point to another type of year this year in that league.
And you've got a Waukesha South program that's been coming back a little bit. They almost snuck into the playoffs last year. Kettle Moraine has had some good things.
And Mukwonago.
And Mukwonago, we'll be seeing them a little later. They've got their brand new turf field. Conversely, when you think about that North Shore League, outstanding league. And last year in the playoffs, it was kind of a round robin with Germantown, Whitefish Bay, Homestead, and they found themselves competing. You got Cedarburg, and those 4 teams just knocked it out. And, Homestead, I believe, has won 14 consecutive conference crowns. They got tied last year by Cedarburg and Germantown, but then they came back through the playoffs, got a little bit of revenge against Cedarburg, went on and only on a 2-point conversion lost to Menasha, the eventual state champion in Division II.
Well, we have a little special something for our folks at home tonight, a little contest tonight, and so be ready here. It's called the Badger Max Secret Word, and tonight's Badger Max Secret Word is sweat. Not sweet. There's some people out there that might call that sweet. It's sweat. So enter now on my24milwaukee.com to win a Badgers football VIP package from Badger Max and My24. So basically, get out there. The secret word is sweat tonight, and we haven't had to do much of it. What a perfect night tonight for the weather here for this football game.
This is a great opening night for the players. They had to go through a tough week with some 90-degree temperatures, some high humidities, and it's nice for them to be able to come out here tonight. We haven't seen referees having to enforce some extra water breaks because the weather's been so cooperative.
And also new this year, Terry, we've got the Goodwill Power Zone. So when any team reaches the opponent's 20-yard line, we have reached what was known as the Power Zone, brought to you by our good friends at Goodwill and the Power of Work. We want to welcome them on board this year as part of our Badger Max Thursday Night Lights broadcast. So that's one of the new features we have this year as well. Some intriguing matchups for both of these teams in Week 2 of the non-conference season. Arrowhead heads all the way north to Hudson to take on a Hudson team up near the Minnesota-Wisconsin border.
Yeah, Arrowhead is not afraid to go play the good teams. By the same token, you've got Homestead's going to be taking on Kenosha Indian Trail. Site to be determined yet because Homestead is putting in a new turf field. And once again, Indian Trail got into the playoffs as well last year. So tough non-conference games, but we've seen in the past that has not inhibited these teams from advancing through the season, doing well in their conference, and then getting into the playoffs.
Indian Trail, another team we will see down the road middle of September against a up-and-coming, I think, Kenosha Tremper team.
Little battle of Kenosha, the bragging rights. See who gets to eat the pizza in Kenosha that week.
Hey, while we're on that subject, congratulations to Frank Matrice Jr., inducted into the Wisconsin Football Coaches Association Hall of Fame coming up later this year. Father and son combo in that Hall of Fame with Frank Sr., his long service at St. Joseph High School in Kenosha.
Yeah, well deserved for Frankie Jr. He served as president of the Wisconsin High School Football Coaches Association. Marvelous job promoting the sport throughout the state, as well as helping different high schools find ways to enhance their programs.
Once again, we'll remind you that Badger Max Thursday Night Lights is available streaming live online. All you need to do is log on to my24milwaukee.com and click on the Thursday Night Lights link. You can also find complete game videos and photos from this season's games. I know Paul Fix has been around here taking pictures all night long, and he's going to post those masterpieces out there on the website. That's at my24milwaukee.com.
Kind of the Ansel Adams of Milwaukee. Yes. Paul does an amazing job.
Fix, man, he does a great job. As does our entire crew. Again, we glad to be back. Season 6, some intriguing matchups down the road. And let's get this one wrapped up here tonight as both teams back on the field now, getting set to begin our second half. A 7-point Arrowhead lead. A late touchdown with about 45 seconds to go in the half. Bastion, the 8-yard run, the difference thus far.
You can see Jeff Steinbach, who works quite a bit with the special teams here, a longtime coach, excellent track coach as well as a football coach. Jim Hessler also works with those special teams, and we'll see what kind of a role they play right off the bat. Arrowhead's going to get the ball. They need to come out and establish themselves. They want to make sure that they can dominate at that line of scrimmage as we talked about. However, Homestead's right there, and we'll see on that first set of plays who's come out ready to go.
I think this is more importantly, this is an important defensive setup here for Homestead on this drive, opening third quarter after giving up the late touchdown. Now you got to go back out there and come up with a stop somehow.
Right, and it's a challenge to those kids, but these two teams are accustomed to meeting challenges.
Ben Price will kick things off to begin our second half.
And Arrowhead at this point has got only one man back, Nick Bastion. They've been using a variety of formations, try to see if they can get some blocking schemes ready.
And they'll kick it deep. Bastion has to drift all the way back, drops it at the 3, picks it up at the 1, circles back across the 10, makes it across the 15, and he'll get it back to the 20-yard line. As finally special teams for Homestead able to bring him down.
You drop that kick, and suddenly your timing gets all thrown off for your offensive blockers, and as a result, they didn't get quite the field position they would have wanted to right off the bat.
Charlie Mortensen in on that stop for Homestead. So getting it back out to the 20-yard line, the Warhawks will get started on offense. Johnny Duranzo rushed for 1 touchdown in that first half, got the first score of the ball game tonight for the Warhawks. Back out there at quarterback, the senior. We'll go with 2 receivers lined up to the left side, the far side. And Bastion will get the call out across the 25 to the 26-yard line, gain of 6 that time. And again, the Robert Day in on the stop, the linebacker. That's his 5th tackle tonight for Day.
Arrowhead pulled 2 backside linemen, kicked out with the first one. The second one turned up through the hole. I imagine Arrowhead talked about, let's establish ourselves.
Duranzo will keep it. Duranzo met at the line of scrimmage, may have gotten a yard, not being faked that time. Able to get in there and make that stop. Defensive front that time for the Highlanders.
Hate to overuse the term key play, but with 3rd and 1, if Homestead could get a stop here, this would be something that could get them set up well.
Bastion will work as the single back. 3 receivers here to the near side on 3rd and 1. And Duranzo will hand it off. Bastion, big hole, up the middle, across midfield. Bastion. He is inside the 30, inside the 20 to the 10. 5, touchdown Arrowhead. 71 yards on the Bastion scamper.
Pretty sure that's exactly what Arrowhead talked about needing to do. I know that they label as their offensive coordinator's staff, and I'm pretty sure all parts of the staff took advantage. You can see a couple of the Homestead guys getting rolled out of there by that offensive line.
71-yard touchdown run, 2nd touchdown of the night for Bastion. And Mack to tack on the extra point for the Warhawks. Again, we noticed early the linebackers crashing the gaps, and that left the secondary vulnerable there once Bastion got into the 3rd level. Snap, the spot by Duranzo, the kick by Mack is up, and it is good. 21-7, early 3rd quarter. So 2 consecutive scores here by Arrowhead, 1 late 2nd quarter, this on the first drive here in the 3rd quarter. And now Homestead chasing 14 as we get one more look on the Bastion run.
Yeah, the one linebacker carried himself out of the play. Big hole opened up for Duranzo, and they're not going to catch him.
Serafino Lagalbo was the last guy back. Sebastian tonight, 9 carries, 131 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Very good night for Mr. Bastian.
So Homestead down 2 scores now here early in this second half. Try and regroup. Wolt and Minkin standing deep inside the 5-yard line. Mack with a pretty potent leg here.
Put the last one deep into the end zone. I'm sure he'd like to follow through again.
And boots this one solidly into the end zone once again for the automatic touchback. Ball will come back out to the 20-yard line. Wolt catching that one in the end zone. So the Highlanders will get it 1st and 10 on their own 20-yard line. Again, this season, first downs are sponsored by Wisconsin Lutheran College, located in Milwaukee, a comprehensive Christian college offering 37 undergraduate majors, an accelerated degree completion program for adult learners, and graduate degree options. Learn more at WLC.edu. Zeller will lead the offense out. Eric Zeller, a 5'11 junior quarterback. He'll have Matt Winters in the backfield. A slot left and a slot right here for the Highlanders. Winters will get the call, dives over the middle across the 20, maybe the 22-yard line. That's it. Stacked up nicely that time.
It's going to be intriguing to just see how does Homestead react to this. Young kids, not as much experience as Homestead's usually in the half had in the past. How will they come back now? You're down 2 scores. You played a hard first half. Are they going to get dejected, or are they going to find something to rally around?
Officially gain of 2 on the play. 2nd down, 8. And Winters will work the backfield alongside Zeller, the quarterback, out of the pistol. Zeller with time. Lofts it far sideline, and it's going to be thrown short, intended for Jack Pop. The left end wide receiver, the 6'3 senior, triple covered on the play.
I think Homestead's going to have to take a little bit of a look if trying to throw so far downfield is serving them well. Could they open it up a little bit with a shorter passing game and try to get some momentum built that way?
Almost to the point where if you want to run that route but then break it short and cut back over the middle, the secondary driving back with Pop that time. Swing pass out of the backfield here across the 25 down to the 27-yard line. Minkin on the reception, but short of the first down, so the Arrowhead defense steps up, gets a 3 and out here, and will force the Highlanders to punt.
Question now for Arrowhead, are you going to handle this punt, flip the field a little bit more in your favor? Last time Pop got off a punt, he got a 50-yarder, did an excellent job.
He's had a couple of those tonight on the roll.
Yeah.
Pop awaits the snap here. Gets off a low line drive. Will be fielded near the 38-yard line and hammered and dropped to the turf with penalty markers raining in the wake. It was Wolt that came down on special teams delivering the blow that time, but we'll check out the penalty. While we do that, let's head downstairs. I believe Mike McGivern has something for us.
Guys, listen to the offensive line coach here at Arrowhead. He said, boys, exactly what we talked about at halftime is happening. We're wearing them down. They start to blitz. You live by the blitz, die by the blitz. Put a hat on people, and we can run the ball the rest of the night. They're feeling awfully good about how the offensive line is playing right now at Arrowhead.
Well, there's the face mask right there on the Homestead. There's the call. So add 15 more to the end of that return. We'll move the ball into Homestead territory. Well, it's the show returning 2 adults, 1 kid, and no grown-ups. Don't miss 2.5 Men, weeknights at 5 and 5:30 on My 24. Arrowhead will get excellent field position here, up 21-7. And the 71-yard touchdown run by Bastian. And a chance to really blow this one open with good field position here. 8:47 to go here, third quarter. Duranzo has one back in the backfield. That's Bastian. 4 receivers will go out, 2 to a side, and they'll swing it out here near side. Catch is made by Hauer. Jake Hauer cuts back up the middle, gets maybe the 45-yard line. Pickup of a couple. Jake Hauer, a 6-foot, 180-pound senior, saw 3 games last year for Arrowhead.
That's the first time they actually ran their little quick screen, a little two-man pattern on that side, and that's something that's been a mainstay of their offense. So it'll be interesting to see if they're going to try to open it up a little bit more.
So go trips left side here for Arrowhead on 2nd and long. And this is Duranzo. He'll keep it inside the 40, close to a first down here for the Arrowhead Warhawks. Nice fake that time by Duranzo, faking a Bastian and taking it right up the middle. Close to be short by a yard.
That front 5 for Arrowhead, Ben Bredesen was all conference, obviously. Mike Olson, a senior, was second team all conference. Nels Anderson, another senior, was honorable mention. They have a sophomore at center, DJ Dean. They've got a junior at guard, Andy Bewer. And they're all about 260 and up.
From the Highlander 38, 3rd and 1. And the handoff. And the first down. Myers with the carry that time. The sophomore Carson Myers able to make the carry and pick up the Wisconsin Lutheran College first down. Clock continues to roll here. 7:15 to go here in our third quarter. Arrowhead taking advantage of that face mask penalty on the punt. Driving the football into Homestead territory. Empty backfield here. 5 receivers going out. The catch is made. Out across the line of scrimmage, Tyler Jones, I believe, on the reception that time for Arrowhead. Makes the catch, gets a nice gain. Down to the 27-yard line is Jones.
Duranzo gets that ball out there so fast.
Serafino Lagalbo able to wrestle him down after a 7-yard gain. 2nd down 3 here for Arrowhead. He'll hand it off once again. Trying to work the right side. Spencer Papandrea, 5'7", 175-pound junior. Had 20 carries last season and picked up a pair of touchdowns for Arrowhead a season ago.
Yeah, they're mixing their plays nicely. They're not just trying to run and grind it out. They're trying to have their passing game. With that spread offense, you're forcing Homestead to try to cover the entire field. So once you can get those seams and take advantage of that.
Double slot left and right. Papandrea lined up in the backfield next to Duranzo. He'll take the snap, plenty of time. Slant pattern complete at the 20. Reception made by Andy Miller. Miller, a 6'1 senior. 23 receptions from a year ago. Gain of 5, 2nd and 5, and they'll hurry it up here. Papandrea with the carry. Breaks it inside the 10, down to the 6-yard line. Papandrea with a nice carry. Gain of 13, and we've reached the Goodwill power zone here for Arrowhead once again.
You can see Arrowhead really getting off the ball much better. Linemen staying on their feet, driving upfield.
1st and goal from the 7. Papandrea again with the carry, gets to the 2, moving the pile forward inside the 1. Papandrea with the nice carry here on this drive. He's a 5'7", 175-pound junior. Gets it down inside the 2-yard line. Under 5 minutes to go here, third quarter. Enzo work from the pistol, and now we get stoppage of play. We got a flag from the far side of the field here. See what the call is here. Offside on the offense, lining up in the neutral zone. So push it, ball back out to the 7-yard line here for Arrowhead. Make it 2nd and goal from the 7.
This would be a case where if somehow Homestead could stop the score and feel a little better about themselves, they don't want this game to get out of hand.
Bastian will take the toss, working left side. Has an army of blockers in front, but good penetration on the play defensively. As getting in there first, Josh Miller, 6'6", 274-pound senior. Also Connor Gertz, able to break that convoy of blockers that time, force that play back inside.
Miller's one of those guys when he steps off the bus, you notice, here's a real ball player, as we mentioned in the pregame, 15 Division I offers, trying to sort through his options and make a choice.
So 3rd and goal from the 6. Trips here to the near side. Ransell wants to throw over the middle. Catch is made. Touchdown, Arrowhead. Leaping grab, Justin Parrott. First touchdown of the season for Parrott, the senior, 5'11", 160. And Arrowhead has blown this game open here in this third quarter.
Duranzo throws, you talk about a guy who throws a dart. That's what his passes are like.
How quickly he gets that ball out. And just a little slant pattern, left to right.
That spread formation puts your poor defensive backs between the rock and the hard place.
Mack will tack on the extra point here. Duranzo gets it down. Mack with the boot. It is up, and it is good. 3:45 to go here in our third quarter. We'll take our break. It's now 28-7. Arrowhead on top of Homestead. Our Badger Max Thursday Night Lights on My 24. Nine play, 47 yards. As we get a look at the earlier touchdown by Bastian. And then the pass play here to Parrott. The 2 touchdowns here in this third quarter on their 2 possessions. This drive aided by the 15-yard face mask penalty on the punt. So only a short field, 47 yards in 9 plays. Parrott with the 6-yard touchdown reception.
This is exactly what Coach Keel kind of feared. His young team, somewhat inexperienced. He's got some key people back, but he doesn't have that usual number back. And Arrowhead returns a number of guys. And so Homestead's got to see, okay, what can we salvage here? What do we put together?
Mack with the run up and the kick. Another booming kick that will make the end zone for the touchback. 3 of his 4 kickoffs tonight have gone into the end zone. So once again, Homestead pinned back will start a drive at their own 20-yard line. This coming with 3:45 to go here in our third quarter. You mentioned that now with young teams, a lot of times you have the tendency to try and get all 21 points back in one play. You just got to start building drives here and take it one play, one snap at a time.
Yeah, you got to get that first score, and then you kind of see what happens. But if you panic and suddenly have a turnover, then the dam bursts, and you can really find yourself in trouble.
Zeller will send a man in motion. That is Pop. And Winters nowhere to go. Will lose yardage back to the 16-yard line. A loss of 4 as the Arrowhead defense now fired up. Wolfile there on the play. That's his 5th tackle tonight. Tackle for a loss that time, back to the 16-yard line. One more look at it. Got the early penetration, beat the left tackle off that end. And so sets up a 2nd and 14 now for the Highlanders. 3 receivers to the right side. Zeller wants to swing it out. Will complete the pass. Far side out across the 20, out to the 25-yard line. They Holton on this reception that time for the Highlanders. Again, Wolfile and Teddy Orlando there to make the stop. Dylan Wolfile.
I imagine the Wolfile brothers have a long discussion after the game who had the most tackles. I imagine fighting it out for who gets the extra pork chop.
3rd and 5 from their own 25. Minkin in motion near side. Zeller in trouble. Zeller trying to get away and can't. He'll be dumped back inside the 25-yard line. Progress stopped there. Stepped out that time by Teddy Orlando. We talked about him in our pregame tonight, Coach.
Last year, he was a 4-sport athlete for Arrowhead. That's a rarity nowadays. Too many kids specialize in only one. That's his 5th tackle for the evening.
So a quick 3 and out here for Homestead once again. Their second punt here of this second half. Their 6th of the evening. So Pop will try and boot this one, get as much on it as he can. Gets off a nice high floating kick. Goes through the defender's hand and it'll be fallen back near the 36-yard line. John Mack, who does the kickoffs, also there on special teams, able to bail Bastian out that time. Said went off his shoulder pad. We talked about, Malling was talking about kind of a special team by committee on that reception back there, and that one bounced off Bastian's shoulder.
I'm intrigued to see if Arrowhead sends in their second team quarterback, Jack Risch, yet. They've got an excellent second teamer, also a senior, and that must be a little frustrating playing behind Johnny Duranzo, but they said Jack Risch has this marvelous attitude, doing a job, and last year when Duranzo got hurt, he stepped in, won a couple of key games for him.
1st and 10 here. Duranzo will fake the handoff and will be tackled right behind the line of scrimmage. May have lost a yard on the play. I want to explain, when teams reach the opponent's 20-yard line, we have reached the Goodwill Power Zone, brought to you by Goodwill and the Power of Work. Power Zone sponsor this year, Goodwill and the Power of Work. Inside an opponent's 20-yard line, we call that the Goodwill Power Zone. No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10 here for Arrowhead. Under a minute to go here, 3rd quarter. Warhawks up by 21. Quick delivery by Duranzo. Gets that one out far side, and reception made. Jack Becker with the catch. His 2nd reception tonight, the 6'1", 180-pound junior. Gain of about 5 on the play. Stops the clock with 46 seconds to go here in the quarter.
As you watch those plays getting signaled in, oftentimes that's a 2-part message that gets sent to the quarterback. First they get the formation, then the offensive coordinator watches to see the defense adjustment. Then as you see, they hold up that sign, send in the rest of the play. They want to see if they're able to take advantage of some matchups.
Third and 5 here for the Warhawks. And Duranzo, I should say, fakes the handoff to Papa Andrea. And he'll keep it short of the 1st down. 30 seconds to go here. Let's head downstairs to Mike McGivern.
So, guys, listen to the coaching staff at Arrowhead. They continue to remind these guys what's happened the last 2 years in this game. They said, look, we've talked about this. Continue to work hard. You know what, at this point, do not look at the scoreboard. Continue to work hard and finish this thing. Interesting, they continue to talk about the last 2 years, and I'll tell you what, I think they're going to finish this game pretty strong.
Mike, thank you very much. That'll run out the quarter here, so Arrowhead will be in a punt formation here when we return our Badger Max Thursday Night Lights in Arrowhead tonight. Heartland Arrowhead leading Homestead 28-7. Arrowhead on top of the Highlanders. Week 1 of our Badger Max Thursday Night Lights here on My 24. Mike McGivern, Kara, Terry Kelly, and yours truly, John Weiser, with you tonight. A gorgeous night for football. A little hint of autumn in the air. It's the third punt tonight for Parker Redmond to start this fourth quarter. And Redmond gets off a nice high floating kick. Run up and catch by Minnick. Breaks a tackle. Minnick with some room out across midfield and takes it down to the 41-yard line of Arrowhead. Nice return. As that should fire up that sideline on that far side. Patrick Minkin, this 5'8 senior, showing some of that track speed of his, getting the edge on that far side.
That old adage, you can't play if you can't run, and comes through.
It was Duranzo who got back there, who was on special teams making the tackle. Now let's see what Homestead can capitalize here on good field position from the Arrowhead 40-yard line. Zeller wants to swing it out to Winters. Winters breaks a tackle inside the 40 and wrestled out of bounds just short of the 35-yard line. Good play by Winters that time. Trying to shake that Noah Harvey, that linebacker here on the wide side, ushered him out of bounds. So a gain of 3 on the play, 2nd down and 7. We're just underway, fourth quarter. Homestead trailing 28-7 with the football at the Arrowhead 37-yard line. Winters with the call. Goes right up the middle to the 35-yard line. Pickup of a couple here for Winters. Winters, defensive back, or I should say running back, 5'10", 195-pound senior, was a first-team all-conference selection last year in the North Shore.
We're probably in a situation, John, with them down on the 35. This could easily be 4-down territory for them. I think they're going to say, what do we have to lose?
3rd and 5. Low snap through the feet of Zeller, able to pick it back up. Now under pressure. Spins out of one tackle. Now just throws it up for grabs. It'll make the sidelines incomplete. Timing all discombobulated there on the drop snap once again as we take a look. Snap was low, delivered by Michael Shears, the center. Zeller able to break a couple of different tackles before throwing that one away. I think we're in that position right now. Coach, 4th and 5, you're down 21. You're deep here in the territory. I think you look for the, now they're going to call this a late flag here. Are they going to call this a grounding call here? I'm not sure I agree with this call here.
If you do a replay on that one, you do have a guy, a
you
receiver
had a couple
on that side of the field.
I was just going to say he had, I believe it was the running back Winters, if not one of the receivers, Pop, I think was also here on this near side, inside the numerals near the sideline. Let's take another look. Obviously Zeller under pressure. And there's your receiver right there, Minnick, I believe, who was near the football. Now that, I'm not going to agree with that call. I think that was bad break going against Homestead here. Not an intentional ground call. Dave Keel having a word or two in that left ear of the head linesman on that far side.
Dave Keel was probably a forensics member in high school. He's probably having a discussion and probably wants this explained.
Well, he wants Mike Greeny to tell him exactly how could that be grounding when he had a receiver there.
And this will be an interesting situation if they do punt the ball away. One of the toughest things to decide as a coach is when do you start substituting? You've got a tough game next week with Hudson. You want to make sure your guys get a chance to develop. By the same token, you've got a lot of kids in your program. They're all trying to find playing time. Both of these teams employ leadership councils where the players come together to discuss things with the coaches. Marvelous attitude. You can see both teams, large numbers out. That's what's made their programs have that staying power. So it'll be interesting to see, dependent upon a field position here, are we going to see the second team offense come on the field for Arrowhead, get a little time?
Dave Keel and Mike Greeny, the referee, having an animated discussion. Again, when Dave will look at that replay, you'll see that on the game film. I think this crew too, and the crews do review film.
Yeah.
I think they're going to see that was the wrong call.
By and large, officials do a marvelous job. It's so easy to pick on them, but there's so much going on at any time.
And we have the benefit of the replay
Right.
to see that the receiver, Minkin, was in position. Here's the look again. Minkin is the receiver right there in white coming to the near sideline, making an effort.
And you could see Coach Keel wasn't becoming, irate or anything like that. But I think he wants his kids to have a chance.
Well, with the 15-yard grounding penalty, loss of down, it'll bring up 4th down here and a punt upcoming. Pop has been busy on the punt here tonight. End over end low kick. Bounce inside, a backward bounce to the 26-yard line. So a short punt to the Arrowhead 26, and with 10:41 to go, Arrowhead will get the ball back, leading 28-7. All season, Mike and Kara will have opportunities to talk with sponsors, coaches, and other guests down on the sidelines, letting you know about the great things going on in our schools and communities that we visit. Our Sideline Reports being brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards. Ranso back out there at quarterback for the Warhawks. Working from the pistol. And Bastian will get the call, trying to get the corner right side, nothing doing. Good job of pursuit that time by the Homestead defense. Will take Bastian down for a loss. One of the few times they've been able to get Bastian behind the line of scrimmage here tonight.
Eric Murray, our spotter, noticed this time they had an extra lineman out there that they slid into the offense. I think the intention was to try to run clock.
It's a nice job by Pop to cut the runner back inside. And the finish by Nico Salerno on the stop. Arrowhead going to try and take as much time as they can here. A loss of 2, 2nd and 12. 9:53 to go here in our ball game. Ranso wants to throw, completes it out near side. Parrott with a touchdown reception earlier takes it out near the 30-yard line before he is ushered out there. Jake Brunner running him out of bounds. It's 3 tonight for Brunner. Done a nice job defensively.
They slid that extra lineman out now and brought in another wide receiver.
Looks like another running back as well in there now. Zach Hastings. Zachary Hastings in there now as the running back to the left of Duranzo. Duranzo will keep it going up the middle with some room across the 40 to midfield. Duranzo down the near sideline, and he'll get down inside the 25-yard line, chased down by Jake Pop.
Once again, we saw Homestead bring 2 men on a blitz. That has not had the positive result. 15 crashed from the outside. Duranzo got to that second level.
Credit Pop that time with chasing him down. They actually ruled him stepping out back at the 37-yard line. That's where they will spot it here for Arrowhead. 1st and 10. Wisconsin Lutheran College first down here for Arrowhead. Again, that's Hastings, Zachary Hastings on the carry. Takes it down to the 30-yard line, gain of about 6 on the play. So Hastings, his first carry tonight.
Yeah, they have Hastings in there. Papandrea trying to get some of the other ball carriers a couple of jobs. Here's that quad formation down at the bottom of your screen.
4 receivers, quad formation here, near side. And Ranso wants to throw. Steps up, delivers over the middle, and it's knocked away, incomplete. Another nice job out there by Jake Bruner. Able to knock that one away from Jones, the intended receiver.
Yeah, Bruner was a player that Coach Keel had mentioned was kind of the quarterback back there in their defensive backfield and made a very nice play on that ball.
So 3rd and 3 from the Homestead 30-yard line. Ranso under pressure, had to get rid of that one. Got pressure up the middle that time. It was Robert Day, the senior linebacker, on the blitz. 8 stops tonight by Day.
Day's had a very solid game for Homestead. And, you can see, Homestead is still playing hard. This is not a case where they're going to just wave the white flag and give in.
Clock stopped, 8:47 to play here in the ball game. 4th and 3 now for Arrowhead. Tyler Jones back in. He'll line up as a slot receiver on that right side. There you get a good look at Robert Day. Trips to the right side. Ranso trying to get the edge, cannot. We stop short of the first down. Day again making the stop. One of the bright spots in that Homestead defense tonight has been Robert Day, 5'10", 195-pound senior, coming up with 2 clutch tackles here tonight for the Highlander defense.
As we've seen in these past openers with Homestead and Arrowhead, just because you lose this opening game, it doesn't mean your season isn't going to be an excellent one. And I'm sure Coach Keel and his staff will come back, look at the film, point out to these fellas, here's what we need to do to get better. Not a case you don't see people ranting and raving on the sidelines. This is a team, Homestead, that's going to get better as the season wears on.
Eric Zeller at quarterback. Arrowhead giving up on downs here. Homestead from their own 29. Zeller able to get away, able to get the pass away, but it's dropped incomplete. Wolf, I believe, was the intended target there. Could not come up with the reception. So 2nd down 10 from their own 29-yard line. Zeller under center. Minkin in motion to the far side. Winters gets the call, breaks a tackle. Winters with a strong run out short of the 40-yard line near a Wisconsin Lutheran College first down. Out to the 40-yard line, it is indeed a first down for Winters. One of his stronger runs tonight, Matt Winters, the 5'10", 195-pound senior. Noah Rummel there on the stop. And this time Zeller goes down on the sack.
Bad snap.
Jake Powell on the bad snap. Zeller had to go back and cover it up, and it was Powell, the junior, honorable mention all-conference a year ago, able to cover him up. We've had a few issues here tonight between Shears and Zeller on that exchange.
That spread offense, your timing is so critical. You've got to make sure you've got everything getting to that quarterback so that the other phases of the offense can take effect.
Now it brings up 2nd and 19 from the 31-yard line. Trips here to the near side. Winters the single back. Zeller with some time. Goes back over the middle. Incomplete. Is intended here in the near side. Looks like Wolt was the intended target. Tyler Wolt may have gotten bumped a little early before that pass got in there, but it was within the 5 yards, so would not have been much of a gain had he would been able to come up with it. So sets up 3rd and 19. Clock stops, 7.5 minutes to go here in the ball game. Slot left, slot right for Zeller. Now under pressure, Zeller able to break away. Zeller on the scramble. Still wants to throw, gets it away, and it's knocked away, incomplete. Nice defensive effort that time. Chandler Pulvermacher, the sophomore, 6'2", 185, able to get a hand in there. Knocked that one down, incomplete. It's intended for Pop. And Pulvermacher, the sophomore, able to come up with the play.
A couple of sophomores on this two-deep roster for Arrowhead on defense. And once again, their depth is always one of the strengths of Arrowhead's teams.
And once again, Pop to punt this one away. This would be a short knuckling punt. It will hit the turf, take a Highlander roll inside the 30, and will roll dead at the 26-yard line. So 7:08 to go here in the ball game. Arrowhead will get it back here, leading 28-7. In these two teams with a couple of tough games in week 2, Arrowhead will travel to Hudson to take on a pretty good Hudson team up in the northwest part of the state. Meanwhile, Homestead, again, asked Dave Keel before the game, they're putting in that new field turf at the Highlander Field, and they're not sure they may have a home game or not next week. Friday, they're scheduled to host Kenosha Indian Trail. They may not get that done. At the process where now they've got the field turf in, now they have to install the numerals. If you understand how that works, they stitch out the numerals in the sideline markers, so they're at that point. So weather permitting, they're going to try and get that done and play some football at Homestead next week. Ranza will shovel this one here to the near side, and Christian again with a nice carry out across the 35 out to the 39-yard line, gain of 12, and another Wisconsin Lutheran College first down. Connor Gertz, his 4th tackle tonight on the stop for the Highlanders.
Packers run a play oftentimes like that. It's a variation of the quick pitch, and you wouldn't think they'd be able to get away with that with the way that play goes, with the kind of the pistol formation and the halfback right there, right beside the quarterback. But they get the edge. Those blockers take that step to the outside, try to get that edge on that defensive lineman.
A little too much time taken by Arrowhead here, so they will take a timeout. So timeout taken by Heartland Arrowhead here with 6:35 to go.
I've got John Griffiths, General Manager of the Germantown store, right here with me. John, can you tell me a little bit about Menards?
Menards opened its first retail store right here in Wisconsin in 1960. Our home office is still in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. We've got over 280 stores throughout the Midwest states, and we even have 12 stores right here in the Milwaukee area.
And now, why is it important to support youth sports?
Menards has been a supporter and partner of high school sports here in Wisconsin for many years. We appreciate the hard work and dedication it takes our student athletes to achieve their goals both on the field and in the classroom, and also really appreciate how much work it takes from the community, coaching staff, and teaching staff to help them achieve their goals.
And is there anything else you'd like to add?
We'd like to wish both Homestead and Arrowhead the best of luck and hope that everyone enjoys the rest of the broadcast.
Thanks, John, and back to you.
Kara and John, thank you so much. And again, thank you to Menards for joining us again this year on our Badger Max Thursday Night Lights. Timeout taken by Arrowhead. They're facing a 1st and 10 from their own 39-yard line. 6.5 minutes to go here. Leading in this ball game, and Duranzo will keep it around the left side. Fakes across the 45 and is dragged down near midfield. Serafino Lagalbo able to make the tackle, the senior for Homestead. That's what his 3rd or 4th tackle tonight, I think. Sixth tackle, excuse me. It's our week 1, too. I'll get Eric's hand signals down yet. You know I will.
Well, Murray is a former science teacher. He's real good with numbers. Our background doesn't lend itself to that so much.
Another Wisconsin Lutheran College first down here for Arrowhead, just short of midfield. And hand it off. Papa Andrea across midfield. Gets a gain of 12 inside the 40-yard line. Really now it's just a strong offensive line and a very tired defensive front for Homestead here.
Starting to wear them down. Carson Myers, another young running back, is into the ball game now. Starting to get a number of the younger guys a chance to play. But as a running back, I'd certainly like to follow number 74, Ben Bredesen. Have him lead the way.
Committed to Michigan. He'll be part of Jim Harbaugh's group next season.
He's probably gone out and bought 4 or 5 pairs of khaki pants just to kind of fit in with the program.
Yeah, he's made things rather interesting in Ann Arbor this year.
I'm going to be intrigued to see how that plays out. The Michigan-Ohio State game will take on a little more significance this year as well.
I think there'll be a little bit more facial expression on that Michigan sideline in that matchup. What do you think? I mean, I'm thinking of the Bo Schembechler and the Lloyd Carr with those stone faces all game long. I don't think you're going to get that with Harbaugh.
No, and it'll be an intriguing season, that's for sure.
2nd down, 7 here for Arrowhead. Muskets get the carry again, and he's stacked up right at the middle of the line, maybe a yard. Myers, I should say, with the carry. Gain of 2, 3rd down, 6 upcoming here. Clock continues to roll approaching 4:45 to go here in this one.
That offensive line getting a little nasty. You saw Mike Olson, the guard, pull to a little trap, stayed after that Homestead lineman for a bit, trying to do his technique. A little frustration coming in for Homestead. Once again, it's interesting to see how they'll respond.
Showing blitz here, Day dancing around. Ranso will get rid of it quickly here to the far side, and the tackle made, and a late flag. Brought down. Jake Brunner on the stop. He may be called for a high hit here. Let's see. Take one more look. That Tyler Jones on the reception, and because I think Brunner made contact with the face mask, that'll be a penalty here on Homestead.
Didn't tug it so much as he wrapped his arm around the front of it.
And it'll be a personal foul against Brunner. Again, that's a point of emphasis in high school this year. Again, the head injuries and being conscious of the, tackling the receivers high, or in this case, or running back or receiver high. Didn't really think he got it. I think he just brought the forearm up, going up high. Don't really see the grasp there, but
once again, they're trying to emphasize player safety, and you can't fault that.
Well, we've reached the Goodwill Power Zone once again. Team entering the opponent's 20-yard line. The Power Zone brought to you by Goodwill and the Power of Work. Once again, Day on the stop. Boy, he's played a nice ball game tonight for the Highlanders, 10 tackles tonight. You know, Dave Keel, very positive coach, going to point out the good things here tonight leading into that Indian Trail game next week, and that's going to be one of the focuses, the play of day tonight on that defense.
Jordan Schrader was also in that play. A couple defensive linemen starting to, once again, they've got to get a little more depth there. Graduated a number of really fine players. So this experience in this opening game, essential to their development going down the road.
Trips to the right side on 2nd down and 10. Bastino again with the carry. Hits it inside the 20, stays in bounds near the 17-yard line. 3.5 minutes to go here. So Greg Malling choosing to keep this on the ground and try and chew up as much time as possible here. Facing a 3rd and 7 from the Highlanders' 17-yard line. Again, 2 quick scores here in the 3rd quarter. If you go back to the final minute of that 2nd quarter, really 3 scores that really put this game in jeopardy here for Homestead early in the 2nd half.
Yeah, that score they gave up right before the half.
Now pressure, and down goes Duranzo at the 29-yard line. Nick Salerno, the senior linebacker, on the blitz, coming in clean, able to take Duranzo down for a loss as we get one more look. Straight blitz up the middle. Loss of 10 on the play, back to the 30 or 28-yard line, and again 4th down, and Coach Malling going to keep the offense on the field here. Be an empty backfield here for Duranzo. 3 receivers, double slot to the right side, single slot here to the near side. And Duranzo with time goes back over the middle. It is juggled and dropped, incomplete, nearly a circus catch that time by the intended receiver Wes Meister, and we'll take our break here with 1:59 to play here in the 4th. It's all Arrowhead. The Warhawks 28, Homestead 7. Badger Max Thursday Night Lights led by 24. Just under 2 minutes to go here from Pfeiffer Memorial Field, Tarasco Stadium, Arrowhead High School. Warhawks 28, Homestead 7. So Homestead will get the ball back here. And stay tuned, we'll have our Army Strong Player of the Game, and we'll also have our Badger Max Trophy presentation coming up in our post game. As Zeller will swing it out far side. Wolt with the catch. Getting out of bounds. So check that pop. Jack Pop, number 2, with the reception.
6'3", 200-pounder. They list him as a tight end. He really plays as a wide receiver. First team all-conference last year. 28 receptions, 7 touchdowns.
Also does the punting.
And plays free safety.
Free safety, so really a three-way player, if you will. Handoff here as Winters will take the carry out near the 40-yard line. Should be enough for a Wisconsin Lutheran College first down. Clock will stop while they reset the chains. Minute 45 to go here. 28-7. Arrowhead in front. Again, this is typical Dave Keel here. If he can finish off this final drive here, this will be the positive going into next week's game against Indian Trail. Zeller with time, going left side, has a receiver out there. Pop going up, makes the catch inside the 30, takes it down to the 25, put it on the turf. And let's see here. Homestead able to get it back. Pop with a nice catch. Look at that, going up, got to the highest point with the football, then lost it on the way down. It might have been Might have been Wolf who ended up falling on top of it, saving the possession there. So Wolf credited with the recovery there for Homestead. 1st and 10 from the 25, minute 10 to go. Zeller rolling right. Now looks over the middle, completes the pass once again. Inside the 10-yard line. Another Wisconsin Lutheran College first down, and once again we enter the Goodwill Power Zone. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Power of Work.
Jack Pop taking another reception. You can see why he would be under the basket fighting for rebounds. Not afraid. Go up there and mix it up.
So it'll be 1st and goal at the 7-yard line here for Homestead. Clock rolling, under a minute to go, 45 seconds to play, but try and get a positive finish to this ball game. Going up, making the catch, touchdown,
Jack
Pop. So a late touchdown by Jack Pop. That entire drive, a Zeller to Pop combination. And with 34 seconds left, a 28-13 ball game.
Well, that's what you want to see as your senior leaders come through. Pop hasn't given up playing hard. Zeller gives him a little confidence throwing that touchdown pass.
Take some of the sting out of this one. And the kick is up, and it is good. 28-14, 34 seconds to play. I can assume an onside kick, perhaps. But we were just talking about it on this drive, getting the ball back, wanted something positive, wanted to finish up something positive, and this is what's going to lead them into that Indian Trail game next Friday.
One of Coach Basham's favorite lines over the years is both teams practice, and you got to remember that. So when you're on the losing end, remember that other team had something to do with it. But then when you're able to kind of look back and say, okay, we did this right, that gives you something to build on. You understand that going forward makes some things happen. And Homestead's got to get readjusted for Kenosha Indian Trail. And then they open up the North Shore Conference season with Cedarburg. So, you're not going to go home and feel sorry for yourself. You're going to say, all right, how do we build? Let's get moving. And Dave Keel knows how to do that with his team.
We mentioned Arrowhead will head to Hudson next week and then return into Classic 8 Conference at Waukesha North to open up the Classic 8 season.
And Hudson's had a strong program the last few years. I believe the Hudson Raiders.
For an onside kick here. It'll be a short kick over the head, and now we got a flag on the play. Do we have not enough players on one side of the football here? Let's see. Mike Greeny, our official. Procedure call here.
Against Homestead, I believe.
I believe you have to have at least 4 on one side of the ball, and I wonder if they ended up with 3 over there on this onside kick.
Yeah, they had the big bunch in the middle, and perhaps
with all that shifting and cutting, perhaps.
Well, Coach Keel is a former math teacher, and so he's probably cutting angles and working things out here.
So the 5-yard penalty. And a re-kick here. Well, once again, we'll attempt. Ashton will run it back, and Wisely will take the knee at the 19-yard line. So one more snap, and Arrowhead will head in with a victory tonight. Just wore down Homestead there. That, you go to that last possession of the second quarter, scoring with under a minute left. They started the third quarter on a quick drive and a score, got a 3-and-out, got the ball back, marched it right back in the end zone, and really just kind of wore down that Homestead, a young defensive team up front, wearing them down.
You think you're in the game, and all of a sudden there's those 2 quick scores, and then that doubt enters in, And then before you know it, there's another score up on the board. I think we're going to go to the so-called victory formation.
No need to take any risk here. And so we'll take the knee.
I know, John, this has been a difficult week for you. You lost your dad last week, had the funeral this week, and I know you said during the game undoubtedly you'd be thinking about how your dad would always call and critique your performance. I'm pretty sure he was watching from above tonight. And I think he's going to tell you did a doggone good job. So our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you very much. 28-14, your final score here tonight. Arrowhead a victory, snapping a 2-game win streak by Homestead in this series. Handshakes at the middle of the field. We'll be back. We'll have our player of the game and our trophy presentation. All that coming up in our post game right after this. Again, your final, Arrowhead 28, Homestead 14. Our Badger Max Thursday Night Lights on My 24. Arrowhead gets off to a good start here tonight, knocking off a very tough Homestead Highlander team 28-14 on the season opener of our Badger Max Thursday Night Lights here on My 24. And one of our players of the game here tonight. And let's head downstairs to Mike McGivern for our presentation of our Player of the Game Award presented by Army.
So, guys, number 28, Nick Bastide, Player of the Game tonight, U.S. Army Player of the Game.
Hey, Nick, on behalf of the United States Army, man, I want to say thank you, congratulations, and you guys rocked it tonight, all right, brother? Yeah, boy.
150 yards, 2 touchdowns against a quality opponent. Not a bad way to start your senior year.
Yeah, it's a pretty good start to the year. I mean, when you got a good offensive line like ours and good blockers outside, I mean, you can't really do bad at running back.
Hey, you know what? He thanked his offensive line. Smart boy. Well done. Congratulations. Back to you, boys.
Mike, thank you very much. Let's take a look at Justin Bastien's night tonight. He had a very strong night tonight, scoring a pair of touchdowns tonight. This is the first touchdown run.
Got around Josh Miller there.
Yeah, put him up 14-7 to start the second quarter, and then started that third quarter, that opening drive of the second half, with a bang. 71 yards. Once he got up into that third level, he was off to the races.
At the point of that ball tucked in, high and tight.
So Justin Bastien, our player of the game, sponsored by U.S. Army. Army Strong. Let's head back downstairs to Mike McGivern and our Badger Max trophy presentation.
Guys, the people from Badger Max, they outdid themselves with this trophy, boys. Thank you so much. You got something to say to this team?
Guys, great job tonight. The first Badger Max Trophy Thursday Night Light Game of the Week goes to Arrowhead. Coach, great job tonight. Congratulations. Well done. Well done, fellas.
Hey, well done, boys. Congratulations, Badger. Yeah, try lifting that thing. Congratulations, Coach. Great way to start the year.
Yeah, it was. It was, obviously a win's always nice, and we have a ton of work to do yet, so that's about perfect.
Hey, man, you know what? That's a good coach right there, and he understands that. The boys, good luck the rest of the way. Congratulations from Badger Max and My 24. Let's go.
Nice job, Mike, and we thank Badger Max, our trophy presentation tonight for Thursday Night Lights. Winner of our game here tonight, Arrowhead celebrating a victory over Homestead, 28-14.
Sure, Badger Max, the red and white colors, a nice award to the Arrowhead Warhawks.
28-14, your final. We'll be back with a final word right after this. Warhawks with a 28-14 victory over the Highlanders here tonight. It was a closer ball game. It was a 7-7 game at one point going late into the second quarter, but then the Bastien touchdown and then the 71-yard touchdown run to start that third quarter, and the basically 3 straight possessions by Arrowhead put this game out of reach.
I think the experienced Warhawk offense had a lot to do with how this game turned. For a long time, Homestead was standing there toe-to-toe, but eventually they got worn down.
Well, Badger Max Thursday Night Lights travels to Oconomowoc next week. The Coonies take on the Black Shirts Waukesha South. We'll have the broadcast for you next Thursday night at 7 right here on My 24. For Mike McGivern and Kara, along with Terry Kelly, John Weiser, and our entire crew saying good night from Pfeiffer Memorial Field at Taraska Stadium at Heartland Arrowhead High School. Your final again tonight, Arrowhead 28, Homestead 14. Until next Thursday, have a great week, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Badger Max Thursday Night Lights on My 24.